Ian, do we have for this week Tales from the Game Store?
Oh boy, do we. Oh boy, do we. Okay, so I'm going to have to go back and lay the groundwork just a little bit. Because it's worthwhile with a story from about four years ago. A guy came in, was selling a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
I can wait.
Sorry. No, go.
So the dude comes in and he wants to sell a bunch of stuff. And this was, like I said, 4 years ago. This was at the La Mesa location. So we start going through it, and there's tons and tons of games in there, and none of it's really worth much of anything, but he had some good stuff. And I remember there was like a box with a bunch of odds and ends bullshit in there, and in there was a sword. A metal sword.
Real sword.
It may have been a recreation sword, but it was heavy and it was metal. And it had Carlos V on the handle. It's a big sword. It's the sword that
Carlos. That was it was inscribed.
Yeah, it said Carlos V.
That was the maker, not someone sharpieing it.
No.
Oh, okay, inscription.
Yeah, for the king.
For the king.
King Carlos the Fifth. So, long story short, with that story, we thought it was weird. We offered the guy a good offer on his games.
What type of games did he have? Like,
this was 4 years ago, so this isn't
this
important.
is
This isn't the important
part. Okay.
So basically, he had some good games. We offered it to. We gave him the money, and he didn't want to leave with it, so he left the sword.
He just left the sword.
So he left the sword at Luna because we didn't want to pay anything for it because we don't buy swords at Luna Video Games. So. There's a picture of me holding that.
Yeah, if you Google Ian's name on Google Image Search, one of them will be Ian holding a sword.
Yeah, and that's that sword. So,
which looks like that looked like the Ocean Beach shop.
No, that was that
was the one.
That's
okay.
La Mesa. So, So okay, so before the marathon now. So Friday morning, I'm working in this past Friday morning, I'm working in Chula Vista. And I'm helping a customer, and this guy just comes full force into the store walking with a purpose. He's got a purpose.
Because Vince McMahon walk?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's kind of what it was.
Chance.
Yeah, one of those I've got the grapefruits walks. So, so he walks in, and he sticks out his hand, and he's like, hey. And I'm like, he's like, Bob here? Like, there's...
Bob?
Like, there's no Bob. And he's like, Steve? I'm like, there is. Like, there's no Steve.
Is he just
here.
running off average names?
Just running off
Bill?
Crystal meth, maybe. I don't know. So he's like, Steve? I'm like, no. He's like, well, I was just in here yesterday. Maybe it was a few days ago. But I was talking to the guy that I might have some stuff I want to sell him. A tall guy, baseball cap, shaved head. And I'm like, oh. I was like, there's no Steve here. Or Bob. And he's like, well, then the guy, I mean, obviously that was Treg.
I was going to say, Treg has a shaved head, doesn't he?
That he's discussing. But he's like, I was like, I don't know, there's no Steve or Bob here. And he's like, well, then that guy lied to me. And at this point, I can tell that this is not a normal customer interaction, that this person is on something or something's going on.
Sure.
And
he dreamt up an interaction and it didn't happen.
So I look at him after he says the lying thing, and I was like, okay, great. What can I do for you? And he's like, well, what's your name? And I'm like, how can I help you? just blowing over the whole name thing. I don't want to tell you any of this. Well, I was talking to him, and so I've got some stuff. And I didn't even notice it. He reaches and he pulls it up. He's got a katana in a fucking sheath.
Full size katana?
I don't know. Close enough.
The medium sized one?
It's a fucking sword. And he's like, so would you guys have any interest in buying this? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, why not? It's really nice. And I'm like, because we're a video game store.
You're not a weapon shop in an RPG.
We don't buy swords. And he holds it up, and he starts like looking shifty around the store. And he goes, "It would look right there. It would look good right there. Right? It would look good right there on the wall." And then he says, "I kid you fucking not. It'll bring in women."
Woo!
It'll bring
Yes.
in women.
Advertise
that sword
your
will look good right
katana.
there. It'll bring
You know
in
what?
women.
I've owned a Highlander replica sword. I can't tell you how many babes I've gotten over the years by telling them that. Man, it works out.
So I'm like, so at this point, I'm just like,
Jesus.
no, man, no. Like, I'm getting like worn out by this.
It was probably one of those Chinese knockoff ones that cost $10 anyway.
Oh, I'm sure.
If it was like a vintage like one from Japan, okay. Maybe
So
I'll give
then-
you $50 for it.
He reaches into like another part. It was right in his hoodie. He reaches in and he pulls it out, and it's like this piece of tin, like not like like one of those cheap hammered out like a metal tile or something.
Okay.
Yeah, like so it was like one of those, and it looked like it may have had like some Japanese characters on it. I don't know. And it had like a like there was like a hole punched in it. There was like a red ribbon out one end and another red ribbon out another. And he holds it up and he goes, "How about a karate medal?"
A karate medal.
And I'm like, "What?" And he's like,
Did you meet an immortal? Was this like his old Japanese prizes
I
from
don't
like the
know.
1800s?
and I was like,
Is this Connor McLeod coming for him?
I was like, "No." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What do you mean karate medal? It's not." And he's like, "It's." I can't remember.
Was it
exactly.
actually a karate medal?
No.
Oh, was it? It looked.
Because I said something. I was like, "That's not like a competition thing." He's like, "No. I just mean it's like it's karate medal." And
Is karate medal on the periodic table?
It
Is that what he
yes,
means?
yes. I don't know if he meant like a
next to
decoration.
iron?
I don't know. The guy was fucked up, so I don't know if he meant like this is a piece of metal that in some way looks like it may have been
Yeah,
in a
karate
karate film, or
Well, it looked like a medal though. There was spots for ribbon.
No, it was metal, and there was like it was
It
like
was circular?
2 or 4 holes punched. No, it was like
Oh.
square. Like
It was a
this.
square.
and it just had like some ribbons coming off of it. So I don't know if it was like
Maybe it was a karate medal.
I don't know. I don't know if it was like it. To me, it looked like some sort of cheap decorative nonsense.
Okay.
Like maybe he stole this katana and he stole the decorative base or the decorative seal. I have no idea.
Now it's a plot for Bloodsport, by the way. Now
I have no idea.
he stole from Tanaka.
Well, I mean, I
You
don't
do
know.
not get
I don't
katana
know.
sword by stealing.
I don't
It's
know
very
where-
special sword. You must earn it. I wasn't going to steal it.
So I don't know where this
do the
came
homework.
from. And then the last thing he does is because the last thing you want to try to sell at a video game store, of course, is a video game. Try to sell those swords and karate medals first. So
what I
he
would
pulls
do.
a game out and he goes, "How about this?" And it's SOCOM, one of the SOCOMs for the PS3,
Okay.
and
It's not Japanese.
it's waterlogged. I pick it up and I open it and it's wet.
It's still wet.
It's wet. It's wet as fuck. So I close it and I put it back down on the counter and I was like, "I can't buy this. I can't buy anything from you." And he goes, "Oh, come on, man. If I don't hustle and get this food, I don't eat." And I was like, "I'm sorry, but I cannot buy any of this." And he picks it up, puts it in the bag, and he goes, "Well, this sucks." And he turns and he has the katana in his hand and he turns and he looks at the other customer who at this point is now like watching this go down from like the second floor area. And
Was it unsheathed at this point, the katana?
no,
Okay.
no. He to his credit, he only unsheathed it once.
So you knew to keep it.
But he was
locked.
getting
Very
like
weird.
there was a point where he was getting aggressive about me not buying like this stuff. Like he was getting
Okay.
angry. So I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ. Like this could be bad." So anyways, it's all back together and I tell him I can't buy anything. And he looks at the customer and kind of goes, "Eh?" with the katana sword. And the customer just looks at me and is like, and like just goes back to looking at the games. And
He didn't
so-
say how much he wanted for the katana, by the way. He might have taken like $1 for it, it sounds like.
yeah,
Whatever.
probably, but I just no.
You should just say, "Hey, there's a consignment store down the street." Even though it's not one, just go there. For it.
So he turned and he left, and I got a quick picture where you can kind of see the
I'm walking
sheath.
out. Yes, I
yeah,
did see that on Twitter.
because no one's gonna fucking believe that story. Without...
Email me that picture like right after the podcast.
Okay.
Seriously, or text me so I can get it to Kieran so I can edit it in
Okay, yeah,
to the segment.
yeah.
Seriously.
I'll do it.
So that was fun. Okay,
That was fun.
weapons. You want to be a weapons dealer as well as a game store.
And then in just small small mention. I will say that I did have a brush with Milkman again.
Oh, Milkman returneth. The Milkman cometh.
The tiniest of brushes with Milkman. He came in with his friend the other day. The friend that he was with when they bought the 360. And all that 360 shit came down. They walk in, and I'm like, oh my God, in my head. I'm like, really? And Milkman's looking as ratty as usual. And he kind of like locks eyes, but not on me or anyone else. He just kind of locks eyes like dead forward and kind of goes out of it. And his friend, like they walk in to like the first 10 feet of the store. They stop. This all happens in about 2 seconds. And his friend goes, y'all sell or buy modems here?
Modems.
Yep.
Modems.
Yep.
28.8, 56.6K, or 14.4.
I was like, no. And he goes, need a modem. And turns around and
he
leaves.
needs a modem.
Yeah, he said, do y'all buy or sell modems here?
Okay.
It was weird because I thought he was going to sell something.
He needs a cable modem.
Yeah,
okay.
I thought he was going to try to sell something to
I thought he was
me.
going to sell an old modem from the 90s.
The way he phrased it. And I was like, no. And he's like, I need a modem. And they just turn around and they leave. So I don't know what was going on with them that day.
Yeah, call AT&T or Cox Cable. They might have one.
To have been a fly on the wall for the rest of their adventure.
Or you know what?
That was early in the day, too.
You go to the swap meet, there's always the old modems from people when they move or they stop their cable. There's 80,000 of those, which are all mostly useless because they upgrade their signal strength. This is cable knowledge. So a lot of them get phased out along the way. Wow. That's a twofer right there.
Yeah.
We have twofers the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Why have we not been doing this segment for the past 5 years? This is therapeutic and it's very entertaining. It's the new. It's going to replace the Scumbag Cell of the Week. I think
people seem to enjoy it.
Oh, they seem to. I think they just do a podcast from the store every day. People are saying they want it like you'd have a reality show, like just film the store. There's something to that. I think we discussed that years ago as a possibility. That'd be funny to do that. All right. Well, that was a tale from the game store.